Beachside CEO. I hope you are having a fantastic Monday. I tell you what, here in Florida, we opened up last week. This week, today, the restaurants, essential services, well, I shouldn't say that, essential procedures that might be needed in a hospital. Maybe it's time that you get your dental work done at a dentist, or you need to go back to the chiropractor, or you have some kind of operation that you're ready to do at the hospital outside of the corona and all that stuff. Something that wasn't life-threatening, but maybe you needed a stent or something. We are back. They're back in business. Restaurants are at 25%. So it's been fun today going down the beach. I'm just seeing people. There's a smile, there's a spirit that's here. The weekend, the beaches were great. A little bit more crowded than I anticipated, but still the distancing, everything was there. It was awesome. And today, as I was just finishing up about a 3.5 hour meeting with my pastor, who's also one of my. We've got a couple of business ventures and stuff that we've been doing. Just a great guy. And I started back down the beach. I thought about today's topic. What do you do when you're thrown into a leadership position that you're not ready for? Sorry about that thumb right there. I'm just trying to get this right. Let y'all see some of that beach. What do you do? And whether this is in a sales organization, whether it's in your church, whether it's in corporate America, it really doesn't matter. There are times when you are put into this leadership position, when you know, man, I'm not ready for it. You might have lots of talent. You may have, if it's in sales, you've cranked it up, you've rocked it out, you're awesome at it. But inside, you're angst over it because you just know you're not ready. How do you keep from failing when that happens? That is a question that I hear all the time. A lot of times, I think in sales organizations especially, we classify leadership as some rank that's been accomplished. You rank up if you're in network marketing, you rank up in an insurance agency or real estate, and everybody, woo! And they all of a sudden they start looking at you and you say, I'm not ready for this. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to succeed? And matter of fact, here's a question. Ask yourself this, because I did when I was going up through the ranks. What happens if I fail? Will I lose my job? Will people look at me less passionately? Will they not come to me for advice anymore? This is a question that I think that we all need to dig deep in and look at. And I think here's what you need to do. This is, if you get nothing else out of today's live, I want you to get this. You can say no to that promotion, to that leadership position. I want to use church for a second, because I think this happens a lot in probably not just church, probably in any kind of nonprofit. If you show any talent at all, sometimes if you can just breathe, they want to say, hey, I want to make you a deacon. Hey, I want to put you in charge of Sunday school class and all this. If you show any passion, and this happened to me, I'll use an example. I remember my first or second year coming back from Catalyst, and you guys know I just love the Catalyst organization. And I remember coming back, and I was just ignorance on fire. I was going to change the way the youth in my church saw God. And they'd made me a Sunday school teacher. So I thought Sunday school teacher meant that I now ran the church, I guess. So I literally, as somebody that was ignorant on fire, I'm in my 30s, I kept all of the Sunday school kids after Sunday school was over and said, you don't need to go to Big People Church. We're going to hold our own spiritual revival right here. Only position I've ever been fired from as a volunteer. But the pastor, when he called me, we sat down for lunch, and he shared. He said, you know what? I think what you probably were trying to do was fantastic. It was phenomenal. But just because you were in the position of a leader, you were leading these kids, doesn't mean you were leading the church. It doesn't mean that you had the authority to do what you wanted to do. And probably what I should have done was turn down the Sunday school teacher job because I wasn't mature enough to handle it, to be quite honest. I thought I was, a peanut butter sandwich and all that. And in business, in life, it doesn't matter what it is. If you know in your heart, man, I'm just not ready for this. I'm not mature enough. I've not seen enough. I don't know how to deal with it. Some of these people just flat out piss me off, and I don't even like some of them. Then you don't take that leadership position. Second thing I want you to think about. Just because you're talented, just because you have an ability to talk with people, you're able to go out there and people join your sales organization, people buy houses from you, you're able to upsell everybody at the call center. That doesn't mean that you're ready to take a management position or a leadership position. That means you've got some great talent. That means you're awesome at what you do. But you need to, when it's time for that promotion, and I know, man, this is tough, especially in a time like this where you're thinking, man, Troy, at least I've got a job. That's true. But I think that your boss, the founder of your company, your team would be far more appreciative of you if you said, man, I just don't think I'm ready for that yet. I'm not sure I can handle that yet. I think they'd be far more appreciative. I know as a boss, as somebody that has led organizations with employees, with independent contractors and all that, I know I would be more appreciative if somebody said, hey, I'm just not ready to do that. I know that's kind of what this position entails. I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm not mature enough yet. I need to gain more knowledge, more wisdom. Can you mentor me first? I think would go a lot more than you being put in a position and them saying, man, this kid is not who I thought he was. This girl, she's far too snippy for this position. If you will be honest and open and transparent, a boss is going to like that more. I remember when I got promoted to executive VP of a company here in Destin. I had been studying leadership most of my adult life. I had spent by then I'd probably spent a few $1,000s. I've probably spent hundreds of thousands now, but I'd spent a few $1,000s. I'd read everything John Maxwell had done. I thought Tony Robbins was like the brother of Jesus Christ. I was into all this. I'd read Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie. I'd taken courses. It was it. And yet when I got up there, all of a sudden I was like a different person because I didn't know how to lead. I had the theory, I had the knowledge, but I hadn't had the wisdom. I had to grow into the wisdom. And the turning point in that position was when I went to a couple of the managers in other divisions that theoretically would answer to me, but they had been there longer than I was. They had built rapport with some of the people. The owner loved them. And in both cases, they had served current hot zone positions in Iraq. And I went to them and said, hey, I know you're not appreciative of what just happened. I know that I was promoted over you, but I need you to support me. I need your help because I don't know a lot of what you know. You've been leading men and women and you know this. When I did that, when I humbled myself and said, I'm clueless at this. And this was also a time when I'd just gotten fired as a Sunday school teacher. It was amazing, the turnaround, because now I had the support of in this case, men who were far smarter than I was. And they helped the rest of the team realize, look, he really knows what he's doing. He just needs some guidance and some help. So when you're leading, and a lot of you right now are in these positions and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling angst, There's days when you feel like everybody hates you for what you're doing and how you're doing it. I would challenge you to go to the people that are above you and say, hey, I don't think I'm ready for this. I mean, I know that I know that you think I'm good at what I do, and I definitely know how to talk to people. I know how to make sales. I know how to be part of the team, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to lead the team. Can you help me? I'm pretty sure that if you've got the right boss, and maybe some of you are saying, Joe, I got a jerk for a boss. But if you've got the right boss, they're going to say, let me help you because somebody helped me when I was in that position. And I'll tell you what, this even goes true when you're a parent. You know, let's be honest. There's a lot of us that we had some really quirky parents, and that's not, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying our parents were quirky because we're parents now and we're quirky. And our kids shake their heads at us all the time saying, what in the world? Why are you saying that? Why are you telling me to do this when you do that? We all go through this. So if you're going through this as a parent, and that doesn't matter. I don't care if it's teen parents. I don't care if your kids are just elementary, especially right now during this homeschooling thing, and y'all are trying to be homeschooling parents and parent online and try to do your business and all that stuff. If you would set your kids down and say, look, man, I'm clueless at this. I didn't have any type of a book that I could read that taught me how to do this because your personality is so different than some of these other kids. My parents raised me at a different time period. I don't know anything about this Common Core education. When I was still doing math, 2 + 2 was like 4. I don't know how to do all this stuff now. So if you would just be open and honest with your kids, I think you would find out that your parenting will be a little bit easier. Now listen, I screwed this one up. I mean, Paige and I were pretty straightforward with our kids. I mean, they know so much about us. They knew so much about our mistakes, our sins, I mean, everything, that it was a little bit easier then. But our youngest ones that we're raising today, from Jetty down, the granddaughters that we have, you know, yesterday I said something to Paige from across the room. We were talking about something that happened in our marriage years and years ago, and one of the grandkids, no, it wasn't either, it was one of the daughters, it was Tempest. She says, I didn't know that happened. And a little bit later she came up and said, Daddy, I'd like to know all about your life. There's things I don't know about you and I want to know about you. See, it's amazing how much we don't communicate, and we need to communicate to our bosses, to our teams, and to our families. And something that Yuri, when I was talking to Yuri today, that I thought was powerful, and that's my pastor. He said, Troy, I think in our society it's become one-sided communication. And it really has. If you guys follow me, you know I try to answer your comments. If you articulate something of value on anything that we put up on social media, I'm articulating back with you. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but I'm always articulating back, and we always communicate with respect. We disagree or agree with respect. But so many times that doesn't happen. So many times we're only communicating one way. We want to be heard, but we're not listening. And if you're at this position where you've been given a position of leadership, or you've earned a rank in leadership, and you're not ready to lead, military, in business, in church, in life, I strongly suggest you just sit down with the person that's giving you the advancement and be honest. Say, look, I really like the advancement. I like the extra pay. I like the way this makes me feel. I like the words of affirmation, but I don't feel like I'm ready in my heart and in my head. Can you mentor me? I guarantee it would go a long ways for you, 100%. Hey guys, have a great day. Maybe we'll be back this afternoon. Maybe we won't. I got a lot of stuff going on. But remember this, act justly, walk humbly, love mercy, and no matter what, love always wins. We'll see you later.